All right, season 4, episode 15. Kaddish? I'm going with Kaddish. Kaddish, right?
Kaddish?
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 Okay, so this is the Golem episode. So we get a hate crime. Some Jew is beat to death by some skinheads, basically. Some freaking Nazis.
Yeah, they basically are just like Nazis in this.
Yeah.
Neo-Nazis? Is that what they're called when they're like
post
Third
Reich?
Yeah.
I think that is the classification.
They're like the new Nazis.
Yeah.
Still just as lame and awful.
Yeah.
As the old Nazis.
The new and improved Nazis. So much better. No, because they're even more like they hide themselves, as to where obviously the Third Reich was very out in the open about things.
Yeah.
These guys are like festering under the surface, and they exploded more recently because they've been given a voice again. Anyway, so the this creature is created out of dirt.
Mud,
mm-hmm. And he's had like a symbol drawn on his hand. We find out that it's his wife that made it. The dad is like the main suspect of this throughout. The dude who runs the printer shop is printing all of this hate paraphernalia.
Yeah, super anti-Semitic, like crazy conspiracy stuff.
Yeah.
And he's got like a Nazi flag just straight up in his business. Like, I mean, I guess it's not where the customers would be, but still it's like
isn't there is there a bathroom back here? What the
fuck? Dude. This is this episode too, like, because I really like how Mulder and Scully, because they're obviously investigating, and they go to this guy's printer shop, and they're like asking him questions, and I don't remember like what they say exactly, but the guy's like, oh, like, am I under suspicion or whatever, and he's like pointing at Mulder, and he's like, you look like you could be one of them, which is just like such a horrible thing to say. And Mulder's just like, his expression and the way he treats him is so cold and just like condescending and sarcastic and stuff after that, which is good, because this guy is a total joke. And I'm glad that he dies.
They all do. So A+. Yeah. I
mean, should people in real life that are racist die for their racist beliefs? Probably not.
They should have their minds changed.
But in a show, when I want some kind of
catharsis.
Then I'm fine with them dying.
100%.
Because in real life, I don't want anybody to die. But this is.
If people have to die, if you gotta pick a group of people to kill, if you just had to, we're gonna blow up the world, or you have to pick one specific group of people to die. Modern Nazis, not a bad group to pick from. Not a bad group. It'd definitely be top of the list for me. It'd be in the top 3. Anyway, this is the episode where I finally wrote down Scully's what I've seen now is almost like, it's not her catchphrase, but it's her response to seeing something that she can't explain, that she's surprised by, because I've noticed it in so many episodes though, because it's just every single time it's the exact same 3 words, which is, oh my God. And she says it every time they see something crazy.
Yeah.
She says it. If you could record all of them and play them back to back, I bet you they all sound almost identical.
She says them very similarly, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty funny.
Do you think that's in the script, right? Every single time, they're just Scully says, oh my God, every time.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a written line.
It's crazy to me that they put it in so... Man, don't you think Gillian Anderson would come to them and be like, can I say something besides oh my God for once?
I mean, yeah, maybe.
They had to have like a joke on set about it, like, oh, here's my "oh my god" line again.
I mean, it's the same as when every time she freaking calls Mulder and is just like, Mulder, it's me, and we're like, Scully, you're the only one that calls him. Like,
every time. Skinner calls him sometimes, I guess.
It's funny though.
But it's the
but
way
don't they
they
have
respond.
like? Didn't those cell phones have?
Caller ID? No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
They didn't.
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't remember.
Because like a
a
pager
StarTech
would show you who was like paging you, right? Like why
yeah, but
couldn't
that's
that be
what
used?
that was literally the function of a pager was to, and it didn't tell you who called you, of course.
They didn't tell you the number?
No, you dialed someone's pager number and then you
Oh.
entered your number in the in the phone and then pressed like pound.
I
and
never
then it
used a
sent you-
pager.
Well,
So-
I'm older than you, and I had a pager.
I thought it showed like who paged you.
When I was in high school, everyone had a pager,
That's
and we all
crazy.
had to line up at the payphone to check our pager messages.
Were they like? I don't know if I've even really seen. I've seen them in movies, but they're like little like
They're little bricks.
boxes
Yeah,
that just have like that little.
they have a little clip on
We
them.
should bring back pagers.
And
I
you
feel like
pop
we
them on.
shouldn't have our phones.
I
No,
don't
I
know.
mean like I feel like we
Pages,
should
that's right here.
downgrade.
Downgrade?
I
You
don't
want to get
feel-
away from it?
I feel
you
like
couldn't
we
get,
shouldn't carry computers.
You couldn't get away from your phone for frickin' an hour.
I know, but I feel like humanity would be better if we didn't. All
I agree.
carry
I think
tiny
we're
little
way too
computers.
online. I think that people are way too attached to the online sphere. I think when it was just on a computer, you
Yes.
had a lot of distance from it because when you left the house, you
Totally.
couldn't get on it.
Totally.
Yeah, I think it's fucked people's brains up.
Yeah,
I think
which
it's-
is one of the things that I like about watching like shows and movies from like the 90s and 80s and even like the early 2000s too, to an extent, like before 2005, but really 90s and 80s.
Imagine
And
trying to
even
get
older
anywhere though.
stuff. I know, but I
Going
really
out
like
and
the
like trying to figure out where something is, trying to see what time they
know.
close,
You'd have to,
getting
like-
directions home from where you're at.
There's so many parts of like having a phone that like those conveniences I feel are very important, like, and also being able to like call 911
for help.
and yeah, all that, like, yeah,
Mhm.
people in the freaking like 70s, like if you broke down on the side of the road and like there's just nobody around. In the
Fucked.
80s too, I guess, like basically anytime before cell phones, you're just like, okay, cool.
Pretty much
That
up till
stuff
the
is
2000s because
Yeah.
only rich people could afford cell phones up until like the late 90s.
Yeah. Anyway, but
Anyway.
yeah, I like when they get down into the grave after they exhume the grave and they find the body and there's like a it was at the what did we say the text was? There's a book in there.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember if we figured out what it was. Some book
He
on
says it.
Jewish mysticism.
Yeah.
The Kabbalah?
No, he says what it is in here. It's nothing that I've ever heard of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, but it's like lights on fire. And then
Yeah.
what's really funny is that Mulder's like,
Scully
so how do you
says, yeah.
explain that? And she's like, there might have been like
Water
runoff,
leakage,
like a
yeah.
chemical runoff leak and it like whatever oxidized. She says some bullshit.
Yeah,
And
because
Mulder's just like, uh-huh.
the thing I really realized in that moment when we were watching this is like Scully tries to explain things through science,
Yes.
but like it comes off just as ridiculous
Yes.
as the shit Mulder tries to explain through his paranormal beliefs.
100%.
Right? They're
And
both like using different techniques just to justify their own beliefs.
And it's become like a bit too, though, especially this season. I feel that we've noticed where they enter a crime scene, they enter an X-file, and something, crazy is there, and Mulder will look at Scully and be like, all right, like, what is it? And I really like that. I think that's a fun little bit that they're doing. But this episode is, actually fairly sad too. Obviously, like, the racism and the Jewish hate and everything is, like, really awful. But then, just in general, like, they were supposed to be married, the husband and wife, and she, like, kind of goes through with the ceremony with the golem, which isn't really him. It's just kind of a bummer.
She brings this, like, old ceremonial ring that
That's
was,
like-
like, gifted. Yeah, it's so tall.
Yeah.
Imagine just wearing that thing around.
I know.
I was like, try
We
wiping
were
your
kind of
ass with
joking
that.
about it, yeah. Obviously,
Um,
it's just for the ceremony. It's not for, like, the rest of the time.
But yeah, it was like some memento that was
saved by her father from when he was in a concentration camp.
Yeah.
And he was like 10.
Yeah, and he hid it up until their wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was like super excited because it was like a tradition from the village that he was from, and all that is so sad.
Yeah.
And
then she marries the golem, and then it like turns to mud again after they marry. Yeah, that stuff's sad, and I'm glad she brought him. It's friggin' like Pumpkinhead or something. It's a revenge demon.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Fuck him.
No, I mean it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that's that.
one.
All right, Kaddish. Kaddish.
Radish.
Radish.
Kaddish.
Yeah, Kaddish. I'm going with Kaddish.
Kaddish.
All
I
right.
don't know.
Yeah, don't be racist. All right,
Bye.
bye.